Hello, it is Nordic Hedgie. So, found out my laptop will run this game. We will see how effectively it runs it while capturing video, or, streaming, whatever. So I'm going to talk about how I got into 40K. This is too loud, I'll still have to adjust the audio. Crap. I got into 40K when I was in high school because I found, I was going to a garage sale one day and I found a book. It was this large, torn up paperback that was missing part of it, or, the end part. It was called Gaunt's Ghost. It was the omnibus. And, I read the description. I'm not one for picking up destroyed books usually. I at least like my books to be in good condition. But the description on the back was fascinating to me. As an avid reader of sci-fi and stuff like that, I'm going to stop for a second and say this is the only good Ultramarine. Titus is awesome. Anyway, just reading the description on the back, it said, it talked about how, the 10th first and only couldn't recruit because they had no home world, slowly dying off, and, so on and so forth. And I read the book, and, I read what I could for it, and it was fascinating. This sci-fi universe I had never experienced. At that point, most of my sci-fi experience was things like Star Wars and Star Trek and Space Odyssey and random sci-fi stories or your generic sci-fi stories, written, by sci-fi authors and stuff like that. And so, this was just fascinating. And then when I got to when I was going to Art Institute, I finally got a PS3. So, I had seen this game before. Now, this is a very special game to me. Mind you, any issues with me playing this game is the system, because I'm actually pretty good at this game. So it's the computer that's just crap, not me. Clarify. Alright, time to kill Akis. Punch the Xenos for the Emperor. And so I played this game when I was 20, 4 years ago. And it just instantly I had a love for this setting. Big armored guy, these orcs, who I'd only ever seen in sci-fi or in fantasy games. Brutality. And I was just in utter love with this, like the setting, the weapon, just everything. explain, you know, 20, 30 years worth of lore to you. So, because I've gone back, I collect orc models. I want to start a army to actually play with because because of the book Death Watch, I absolutely love Death Watch. Like, Death Watch is probably my favorite 40K book. I've had it for like a month and I haven't finished it. Like the first week I got halfway through and then I haven't picked it up again. That's just because I don't read a lot anymore. I would much rather... In college I found out I much rather live the experience than read about it. So I'm much more into video games now. But it's still just... I need to finish that. I've got a bunch of 40K books. There's one 40K book I picked up that I won't finish ever, and that is it's a Grey Knight book. I think it's literally just called Grey Knight. I don't know. It's about Grey Knights that leads up to the battle at Armageddon, or the War for Armageddon, the first one. Oh wait, it's not. That never happened according to Imperial records. I'm sorry to mention it. I am waiting for Inquisitors to bombard me. But no, I can't finish it because just the way the book progresses. And it just, that hurts, like, seeing the way that's done. With what I've heard of, the Inquisitors and the, Grey Knights, and so it's not like it's canon breaking or anything like that. It's just on a personal level, it bothers me so much. Favorite, because I play on Roll20. My favorite games are easily is the Black Crusade game I'm playing right now, where I'm playing as a Night Lord. Mind you, I screwed up so bad this week's session, because just a scenario, because, the way we are. Like, let me explain our game. Our captain is a Emperor's Children who looks like a demon now. Because the dice got really nice with him and blessed him. Because of something we were doing. Then we have a Warpsmith, who is obviously Iron Warriors. We have a Art Medic. I'll try not to breathe my space aids on you. And then we have, the Night Lord who kind of needed a psyker. I worship Tzeentch. And mind you, I don't like Tzeentch. Tzeentch, I have no affinity or hatred towards Tzeentch. My hatred of the gods goes to Slaanesh. I like Nurgle. I like Khorne. I love Khorne. Blood for the blood god. I love Khorne. But, I picked up Tzeentch because I was just like, alright, well, you said it does work with, or it would make sense for, the way I have my Night Lord planned. And I talked to my DM about my plans, about the backstory of my Night Lord, because I have actually kept my Night Lords on a Nurgling, as I keep calling him, fondly calling him. And so you have the Tzeentch and the Worshipper teaming up with each other constantly. And yeah, I'm literally making jokes about him taking me out because, when I charged into battle, he's like, let me get a couple of shots off. And I was like, and I just rushed in, and I did my melee attack, and it's weirdness. But, and orcs are easily my favorite Xenos race just because of the way they function. Everything about the lore is being a 40k nerd. Fuck you. I can't, I hate the, like I said, I usually play much better than this, but this is just, I'm having, my computer kind of fighting with me in here. Get a couple, orcs paint their trucks red, because red makes it go faster, boss. And that is just, and because they believe it, red things go faster, it does. And that's so stupid, but I love it. See, you are the reason I hate Ultramarines. So let's talk about Ultramarines. I do not, I have legit lore reasons to hate Ultramarines. Because there are certain things about him that I cannot stand. And there are certain things that I do really like about him. Guilliman in 30k? Can't stand him. 30-minute. Adore. But, so, I'm actually going to pause this, and I'm actually going to read one of my favorite quotes. One of my favorite quotes regarding Guilliman is, Gilliman talking, or Zangron talking to Gilliman. Now, somebody mentioned the reply to this. And it was such a good reply that, it makes me adore Gilliman a little bit more. But this is what Angron said. What would you know of struggle, perfect son? When you have fought against the, or when have you fought against the mutilation of your mind? When have you had to do anything more than tally compliances and polish your armor? The people of your world named you Great One. The people of mine called me Slave. Which one of us landed on paradise of civilization to be raised by a foster father Robute? Which one of us was given armies to lead after training in the halls of Macragian high riders? Which one of us inherited a strong, cultured kingdom? Which one of us had to rise up against a kingdom with nothing but a horde of starving slaves? Which one of us was a child enslaved on a world of monsters, with his brain cut out by carving knives? Listen to your blue-clad wretches yelling of courage and honor, courage and honor, courage and honor. Do you even know the meaning of those words? Courage is fighting the kingdom which enslaves you, no matter what their armies, or no matter that their armies outnumber yours by 10,000 to 1. You know nothing of courage. Honor is resisting a tyrant when all the others suckle and grow fat on the hypocrisy he feeds them. You know nothing of honor. And like that that really does hit part of the reasons why I hate Ultramarines. They're just, everything is given to them. Everything was set up for them. In 30K, they never really had to fight for anything. From my perspective. But, of course, Gilliman has a good little comeback, and he says, "You're still a slave, Angron, enslaved by your past, blind to the future, too hateful to learn, too spiteful to prosper." That is a really good comeback for Gilliman, and I like it. As much as I love Angron, he's a failure of a Primarch. He is a massive failure of a Primarch. You need someone to destroy everything, you send Angron. But he's still a failure. One of my favorite moments of the Horus Heresy books, because, luckily Arch is going through them, because I don't have time to read all 50-something books, was when, there was a battle on planet, and Angron was leading the charge, and they buried him in, 10 tons of rubble or something, because of some explosives they had on the bridge, and blah, blah, blah. And then, so the troops move up, and they capture the fortress, and everyone's surrendered, and everyone's like, all right, we give up, we'll give up to you. And then Angron bursts out of the rubble and starts, killing everything in sight. It's like, oh, well, battle starts again. I love things like that for Angron. But it's just, there's so much fascinating lore with 30K and 40K, and I can't help but just fall in love and be obsessed with the sci-fi universe. It's not a universe where, everything's going to get better magically. It's not one where there's still hope. It isn't a hope of a better future. It's a hope of staying alive. This isn't a sci-fi universe where, it's not Star Wars. It's not Star Trek. This is grimdark. This is a hopeless universe where, in the end, it's not a matter of trying to, save the galaxy, as much as people talk about that. In the end, this is a galaxy where everybody is fighting for their own survival. This is a galaxy where all the different races are fighting each other, trying to come out on top. Some races have better, claims to being why they should be on top. Tyranids, waka 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 as they go through planets, and alright, Tyranids are awesome. Enemy, don't get me wrong, but I can't. They're not as interesting as orcs to me. And orcs just want to fight the biggest and the baddest. And, orcs are just awesome. Eldar are just cunts. And, who think they're so much better than everyone. And then Dark Eldar are, well, Dark Eldar. Let's skin and torture and, perform weird experiments and, of course, but how can anybody forgive the Eldar when they fucked a demon god into existence? By the way, the fact that I can talk about a universe and say the elves fucked a demon god into existence while talking about sci-fi universe, that is my favorite phrase to talk about when it comes to 40K. Because this is part of the reason why I love 40K. It is sci-fi universe with orcs and elves and demons and, anything else that you could want is basically in here somewhere. And I love this. Like, this is part of my fascination with it. It's just the sci-fi fantasy, blended together. And, it's just, I adore it and I obsess over it and I love it. And, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've talked about it a good fair bit. But this will always... Actually, I know what, one last thing I want to talk about. Because... I have one last quote that I want to read. And it is actually a quote by Sevatar. There it is. Because this is actually my favorite quote in 40K ever. It's not on this side. Anyway, but while I'm looking for this quote, I want to mention the fact that one of the best things I've ever seen for 40K was 40K Theories. Oh crap! I can't think of what it's called now. It was his heresy thing that he did. It's like a 4-hour video. The compilation of all the parts of it, and what it is he had gone through and he had switched the Primarch side. So the Loyalists are the traitors and the traitors are the Loyalists. And he had gone through and redone the entire Horus Heresy accordingly. And it is such a fascinating masterpiece with everything he did. He did Conrad Kerr's Justice in it. Like, one of my favorite parts is Ahriman shows up on an Ultramarine ship and releases the Men of Iron. Cause fuck, where the hell did he get those from? Because I missed that part. But yeah, it's just, Angron takes the place of Sanguinius. There's so many little things like that were utterly fascinating. And that's something I love about 40K is you can do stuff like that. You can retell a massive epic story like the Horus Heresy and retell it with the side switch. And it's still so fascinating. And the thing about that is the Horus Heresy depends on who is in charge. When you switch the sides, he put Rogol Dorn in charge. It could have been Sanguinius. It could have been Gilliman. Gilliman took the place of Logar. And that was fucking brilliant. Where you put the Primarchs depends on how the Heresy will go. And that is utterly fascinating. Alright, so let me read this quote by Jago Savatarian. And this is how I'll end this video, because this is my favorite quote in all of 40k. Because the wolves kill cleanly, and we do not. They also kill quickly, and we have never done that either. They fight, they win, and they stalk back to their ship with their tails held high. If they were ever ordered to destroy another legion, they would do it by hurling warrior against warrior, seeking to grind their enemies down with the admirable delusion of the noble savage. If we were ever ordered to assault another legion, we would virus bomb their recruitment worlds, slaughter their serfs and slaves, poison their gene seed respiratories, and spend the next dozen decades watching them die slow, humiliating deaths. Night after night, raid after raid, we'd overrun stragglers from their fleets and bleach their skulls to hang from our armor, until none remain. But it isn't the quick execution the Emperor needs, is it? The wolves go for the throat, we go for the eyes, then the tongue, then the hands, then the feet. Then we skin the crippled remains and offer it up as an example to any still bearing witness. The wolves were warriors before they become soldiers. We were murderers, first, last, and always. So with that, I'm going to end this video. I know, like, half of this is just looking at the screen, and I apologize, but I'm happy to get this video out. And like I said, I have a deep love for 40k, and as far as I know, it's going to keep going. There are issues with 40k currently that, I'm sort of mentioning or trying to help, talk about, whatever. But, that's not something I want to get into. For here, I just want to get into why I love 40k. And it's this, the supreme, over-the-top, hopeless, grim-dark universe. With orcs and elves and demons that I can't help but love. And, this is something that forever holds my heart, as far as I know, because I'm obsessed with this. So with that, it is Nordic Hedgie out.